Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Cole here, and today I'm going to start with a question. Have you played Quake? And I don't mean like have you played any Quake game. I mean, have you played this Quake? Have you played the original one that you're seeing on the screen right now? Because if the answer is no, then you really don't have an excuse not to anymore. What you're seeing on screen right now is a re-release that came out 3 days before I'm planning on uploading this video. And in this re-release, they have enhanced graphics, a whole ton of content, and they've made it super accessible not only for PC players, but also for people on all consoles, with it being ported to the Xbox One, the Series X, the PS4, PS5, and the Switch. This game is such a classic, and it still is so much fun to play today. I wasn't even ever planning on making a video on this. I'm just making this video because I'm having so much fun playing this re-release. And I've played this game before. I've played this years ago, and I'm just having a blast replaying it right now. So today, I'm just going to do a little bit of talking about why this port is so awesome, and hopefully convince some of you guys who have never checked out the original to check it out by playing this, because it is such a positive experience. To start out, they have enhanced graphics from the original, and the first thing that you notice if you've played the original like I have is just that the lighting is so much better. Pretty much in every area, they've enhanced the lighting to just be so nice. There's a bunch of new models. Some of the maps have had little tweaks to them as far as like Z fighting and stuff like that that's been fixed. There's a new like shadow system that I've seen people talking about. There's just a lot of enhancements to the graphics that have been brought through to this port. As far as what I said before about there being a ton of content in the game, not only do you get the base game Quake when you buy this re-release, but it also comes with both of the expansion packs included, which is something that has never been done before. I had to buy them separately years before, but now they come just with the base package. It also comes with a new episode that Machine Games made about 5 years back for the game's 20th anniversary, and that has been really good so far. I've just started playing it for the first time, and I'm enjoying myself up to this point. And on top of that, Machine Games has also made an entire new expansion that has, I believe, 4 episodes in it to celebrate the game's 25th anniversary, which is this year, and that is ultimately why this port has been released. And to add even more to the content that's available here, id Software is going to be putting out periodic add-ons to the game, and the first one is already in at launch. If you go to the menu, go to add-ons, you can download the Quake 64 versions of the levels, which are the modified versions of the levels from the N64 re-release of the game back in like 1998, I think it is. And you can play those. I've played those a little bit, and they're pretty cool. You're probably not going to play through the whole game this way, but it's cool to see and just experience that different take on the levels. Now, this bit is definitely more for the console players out there, but they also have split screen support in the game now, so if you want, you can add up to 4 players, you can play deathmatch, you can play co-op campaign. If that's something you can enjoy, you can do that. And speaking of multiplayer, they also have dedicated servers now for deathmatching on the original Quake. So this is probably more for PC players, because on console, deathmatch probably won't be very enjoyable. But they have dedicated deathmatch servers for this game now, and I've hopped on and played a little bit of it, and I've had a blast so far, and I think it's something that I'll be able to sink a little bit more time into. Even though I definitely prefer like Quake 3 Arena and Quake Champions, I can play this here and there, and I can have a good time with it. The online multiplayer support also extends to custom games and co-op campaign, all the stuff that I mentioned before with split screen, you can also do online. And just to add a little cherry on top, all of it is cross-play, so PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, everyone can play together regardless of platform. My one warning for players trying to get into Quake for the first time is that this game is hard. Like, out of all the 90s boomer shooters, this one is one of the more hardcore ones, and it's definitely one where you're going to get your ass kicked. There's just so many difficult enemies, your arsenal is really good, but at some points you're just not going to know what weapon to pair against what enemy, and it's just going to be a bit of a learning curve. Just stick with it early on, don't play on one of the harder difficulties, you'll just ruin it for yourself. But really give it a good shot, and the difficulty is actually a lot of fun, and it's super fair. Once you learn the game more, and you start taking advantage of just the fact that you're able to blow through enemies once you know what to do with them, and you've got a better understanding of the movement mechanics, is that Quake is fast. Like, Quake and speed just as a brand, like, go hand in hand, and that started in the original. Like, once you get this shit figured out, you are going to zoom around maps, you're just going to be flying around, having a blast. It's absolutely worth that initial learning curve to be able to do that later on in the game. Quake's weapons also just kick ass. You have a shotgun, a bigger shotgun, you have a nail gun, and a bigger nail gun. There's a grenade launcher, there's a rocket launcher, there's a gun that fires a continuous lightning bolt out of it. And then in the expansions, they add even more weapons, like a laser cannon, and there's the lava nail gun. There's just a ton of stuff that get added with the expansions later on as well. And it's just a blast using these weapons. They feel so like industrial and gritty, and I'm just a huge fan of them personally. And the fact that the weapons are fun is only made better by the fact that the enemies are so much fun to fight. Like, some of the best examples are the Ogre, which is one that you see pretty much throughout the entire game from the beginning to the end, which is an enemy that shoots grenades at you from a distance, but then if you try to get closer to him, he'll just pull out his chainsaw arm and hit you with that instead. And there's the Fiend, which just like hops around, and if it hits you, it just does insane amounts of damage. And there's the Death Knight, who's got this big ass sword that he'll hit you with if you're up close. But then if you back away, he'll shoot out like a shotgun, like sweeping blast of fireballs. Like, the enemies are just so kick-ass on top of the weapons, and it makes combat just so enjoyable in this game. And what also helps that combination so much is that the game was created by some of the best level designers in FPS history, frankly. The team at id back in the 90s was just made of just really the goats of FPS level design. They had John Romero, they had Tim Willits, they had American McGee. Like, they just had the most stacked team of level designers, and you see that in this game a lot. With just the way that levels are laid out, these arenas are just made so interesting to move through. And the enemy combinations, you get stuff like those ogres that just lob grenades, put in the back, while they put like a fiend up front to chase you down. And you have to kill the fiend to like get at the ogres, or run around the fiend and take out the ogres first if you'd rather do that. Like, just really interesting scenarios that you get put in because these guys knew what they were doing so well. My one big gripe with the port so far has been that the controller support really isn't great. I tried it just for the sake of this video, and that I had some people in my chat and in my Discord telling me that it was a bit yikes. And I can agree that it's not very good. The aim assist is so aggressive. Sometimes it felt like it was just auto-aiming onto enemies for me. It's really not my thing, but I can still recommend this to some console players. I would say if you play at like a desk on a monitor and you have a mouse and keyboard available. I know that most consoles, like I'm pretty sure the Series X and the PS5 both just have built-in like mouse and keyboard support. If you just plug them in, you can use them. So I would definitely do that if you can. But then again, playing on controller isn't the worst thing. It's just definitely not something that I'm going to do again on this game. But ultimately, this game is just such a classic, and I've been having such a blast going back through this. I hope that some of you guys found this video helpful or informative. Maybe some of you even want to check out the game from this. I believe it's priced at $10 on like Steam, GOG, Xbox Store, PlayStation Store, the Switch. I'm pretty sure it's $10 everywhere right now. If you wait for a sale, you can definitely get it for like $5. I would just highly recommend experiencing this, especially because it's been made so accessible now with this new port. But with that, that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys made it this far, feel free to go ahead and leave a like, comment, or a subscription. Any of those would be greatly appreciated. I also stream on Twitch all the time. That's my main platform, so if you guys want to check that out, feel free to go ahead, leave a follow, come chill and chat sometime. We'd love to have you. I'll have a link on screen and the description below. And with that, I hope to see all of you guys back here next time, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.